and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody, did you get any feedback after? And Bailey is at a conference, and so she won't be here. But we do have a quorum, correct? Okay. All right. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes of the prior meeting? All right. One of the things we might note, and I think it's something that they've done at the city council, is have an agenda item for something like applications and purchases. We sold the lot at 412 South Little for $400 because it was a unbuildable lot, needed to be cleaned up. And the thing that I note is that it needed a well filled in within 90 days. So I think we probably ought to put it on our agenda to see if that well was in 90 days.
Well, I mean, I can't transfer title to that 30-day notices.
Okay.
And that runs,
so
that runs on the
that,
25th.
Right. Whatever that deadline would be, if we could have a trigger to follow up on that.
That's fair.
Otherwise, it's over.
Well, I have with me tonight the deeds that you need to sign, as well as the development agreements that you need to sign. So
I thought Brad signed that.
sorry. No.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
nothing's going to be official till after the 25th, because I think the 25th is the 30th day after the publication.
Okay, very good. And then we just have a trigger or some sort of notice for ourselves that we check to see that the well was filled in. Other than that, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, good. All right, real quickly, there's not financials specifically stated on the agenda, but real quickly, we started out the calendar year with $100,000, and we've had approximately $1,800, a little bit more than $1,800 worth of bills paid and salaries paid, and we are at, as of 4/17, we are at $98,057.33. Just as an FYI, since Bailey wasn't here to give that. Any questions about that?
What was the amount?
Yes, it's 98,057.33, and there's 126 for filing of deeds, and then 75 twice for title work done by Security First, and then 1667, I'm sorry, 1666.67, which is what is that, 2 months worth of 1099 salary wages. Any questions about the financials?
Craig, are we, I couldn't remember how did we decide that we were going to mow, or that the city was going to mow, and we were going to rate?
We asked I believe that it was voted on to have the city go out for bids and tag us onto that.
Okay, yeah.
And we will talk about that. That is an agenda item.
Oh, I'm sorry.
C, 3C, where we'll talk about what our ask is of the mowing folks.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. Old business, progress report.
Oh, just a quick update what I got done last month. As you can see, of course, we got a number of applications to consider tonight. We did receive the donation for the property at 1601 East Wall. I placed a sign there, although it blew away in these winds. And we have actually 2 applications to consider tonight, 2 people interested in it. I do have the development agreements done, as well as the deeds. I have contacted Matt Quick to find out where we are in getting, he's the county appraiser, where we are in getting the exemptions on these properties approved by the Board of Tax Appeals, and he has not finalized the paperwork yet, so we're still out there a little bit on that. I will note that I did receive real property valuations from his office for all of our properties, and every one of our properties has increased a little bit. So, or not every one of them, the majority of them have increased in value a little bit. I did get a White Pages account set up, so if anybody needs to find their X or whatever
appraiser. Will I be the one signing those documents, or will that be?
I believe you signed them last time.
I signed them the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't here then.
Right, yeah.
So,
As far as I know, Matt, that's how Matt's been preparing them, but.
Okay, very good.
So, I mean, you know, just day-to-day phone calls and that kind of thing, and meeting with folks, that's all, so.
Any questions for Pat on the progress? I know this is pretty clunky with all the different rules and regulations and the number of entities we have to deal with to do something as simple as sell a property. So, okay, are we ready for new business, which would be the applications for purchase?
I'm not sure what order you want to take these in. I've prepared a summary of all the applications that I've received to date, other than the couple that I just received a few moments ago.
Do we want to start maybe and see if the folks in the audience have something that they want to visit about?
They are applicants.
They are applicants, okay.
But yes,
I prefer we started there too.
with them, okay.
Yeah, if you want to, if we got a choice.
Okay, now I have two applications, and I guess Dave's not quite here yet. I have an application for Freeman's, Trent and Kate Freeman, as well as one from David Live for 10 North National. Of course, we do not technically own that yet, as far as I know. It's not been deeded to the land bank as of yet, as far as I'm aware. It's not of record yet, and I've tried to call the city attorney and have not been able to communicate with him about where the deed is, but I presume he's the one that trained.
I thought last week we talked about that, and it had never been allocated back anyway.
He's got the information. We haven't got it back yet. He's got the information. I talked to him today about it.
Okay. Does he have a timeline or?
No, it shouldn't be too long. This afternoon or tomorrow.
Okay.
Shouldn't be that long. How long does it take to do the paperwork?
Yeah.
Could we go ahead and make a decision then based on, I guess that'll be part of the motion, whatever decision we make, if we make one today, then it'll be.
One of the things we'll have to do, I think, is if it's technically not in the land bank, and there was some discussion about whether it was or it wasn't ever.
It was originally, but that was before, I don't know if it was put in there.
It wasn't in the land bank when it fell down.
Yeah.
And then it went back to the city officially?
Yeah. In the meetings, that's how it's transposed. As far as paperwork, I'm not sure how that went, but yes.
It's still in the name of the city.
It was
According to
voted on.
The register of deeds
And
record.
then you guys voted on it about a month ago?
Right.
To move it back?
Move it back to the land
Okay,
bank.
okay. So at that point, we would probably need to wait 30 days. We need to post it on the internet or on our, the website and,
Well, last month, you may recall, we considered 3 applications and accepted all 3, and then posted the notice of sale.
Yeah.
So.
were they already on the list though from like?
Oh, yeah.
6 months ago or
They were
9 months ago?
previously
Well,
on
we-
the list,
They were on the list, and we, of course, had, we had their application in hand prior to the meeting.
When did you guys vote to give it back to the land bank?
2 meetings ago, in the first,
Did the last of the last one.
last meeting in March, 3rd Tuesday in March.
Okay, so we're still waiting on the deed? Okay.
You know, in this situation, what's gonna be presented to us, I think everybody recognizes happen to be the 2 adjacent landowners. And on commercial, which ranks the absolute highest on a rubric in previous discussions, where if it's commercial and adjacent landowner, that takes precedence over almost anything else that would be done. So I think we still need to hear what they have to say and then approve or deny, and whatever, in which case it'd be subject to us receiving title.
And again, I just received their application a few moments ago, so have not been able to summarize it for you. You know, I know you guys are concerned about anonymity, but obviously that's not going to happen in this case anyway. So I can read the application to you folks, and then the Freemans and David can make a presentation if they so desire. I know they have some renderings here what they intend to do with the property. I'm not going to take the wind out of their sails, but they indicate that the intended use is to approximately 37.5 feet north of the artificers is going to be green space, approximately 12.5 feet south of Sharkey's, will be added to David and Tina's outdoor patio space. They intended project timelines upon acquisition and then the completion within 24 months. They indicate that the portion of property adjacent to the 8 North National will become a green space for a sculpture park and private events. A portion of property adjacent to 14 North National will be included in Sharkey's /Life's patio /green space. They do not require financing, and purchase price to offer the indication is transfer. So I don't know, suppose you would like to hear from these folks and take it from there, I guess.
So the plan is to take the 75-foot lots there, the 50 at 8 North and the 25 that you, Dave, you already own?
Correct.
10 North or 12 North?
14.
Yeah, 14, okay. And so you would split that into 2 37.5-foot lots?
Correct.
Okay.
Can
Yeah,
I see the renderings?
Yeah.
Which way you want to start?
So we'd have, I believe it's 12.5 feet would go into David's, and then the rest would go towards
Is
us.
this one?
So it would be split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need a little bit of volume though, so I can have some kind of notes
No.
recording here.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm sorry, the Freemans did
Sorry,
provide
that's
kind of a curriculum vitae for their business model.
But it's just, as you're looking at those, obviously, they're renderings, so
Yeah.
keep that in mind. One of my plans is to put in a pickleball court in that space, which you're not gonna see that on here, that's kind of an afterthought.
That's the nicest presentation we've had so far, so you're good.
Even though they're blurry, they're still
Yeah.
nicer.
I thought it was my glasses.
And same, like, on our property, one of the things like, Dave and Tina and Kate and I had, we discussed with each other on this, and our green space also in the sculpture, area, and having a nice place to set up for outdoor art events and to invite other artists to come and sell and do those kind of things, as well as having that space adjacent to Dave and Tina's, and having those places open up so the area can be shared by both parties to be able to accommodate that. So if we're having a space that can cater, those kind of things can take place and everything.
For example, but not necessarily, if we have a wedding on our side that's an outdoor event, and then we open up the space between, and Sharky's caters the event on their patio and has the reception area there, it's just something that we can do together, as another event kind of space or outdoor event space for the community.
I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it. So it's gonna be completely open. There's not gonna be like a fence in the middle or a wall.
Well, if we had talked about having a space like that, maybe like greenery or something that would be, like a metal type fencing. When I say that, that would be, period correct for the space.
In between, no, I'm talking about in between the two.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you're gonna wanna have it.
Yeah, so that way-
To protect their
Separate.
space and
Okay.
ours.
Yeah, so there'll be a defined space, because that way if we have nothing going on and they do, he can, and vice versa.
Vice versa.
I don't.
But it all can be open, it
It-
can also be opened up to,
And then the front is gonna have wrought iron, black fencing, correct, or some type
Yeah,
of?
something like that would be period correct to the idea that it would look that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'll have a timeline.
24 months. And that's why we're putting, that's right with you too.
Yeah, I can't,
Yeah.
I'm not even taking any bids on anything until this process is
Sure.
complete. so
Yeah.
Put the cart before the horse.
that's the same. And I'd love for this process to be complete, because there's a couple of grants I'd like to apply for, so.
And we already have some landscaping type things picked out to do, but we can't do until we know and those kind of things.
Well, I'm gonna go out and say that I think it's an amazing idea. it's perfect for the area, perfect for the two organizations or businesses that are there. I think it's gonna bring people that are downtown. It's gonna be a great addition. I will go out of my way as well, saying that I think both Dave and the Freemans, the Leipes and the Freemans have put in a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of money in their buildings and dealing with all the things that happened with the Eagle Block and stuff. It would be my recommendation that the board consider transferring the property over to the two individuals as is and not charging them for the piece of property other than pay for the deed, pay for the paperwork and stuff like that. But other than that, associated fees that come with the transfer. But other than that, I don't think we should charge them because they've obviously put a ton of money into those two buildings and
That motion.
Yeah, that motion.
yeah, it's a motion, sure.
I second it.
Do we need to put in there that per the deed? Because I didn't say that.
That'd be the only thing.
Per the
You
deed.
need to amend it to say contingent upon deed transaction this week.
Yeah, contingent upon the deed being transferred to the land bank, the property being.
And Pat, we haven't had any other interest in that building. Like Robert was saying, the adjacent owners are certainly at the forefront of our thoughts on this.
I had an individual come in today, but had no game plan, long-term game plan, frankly, no short-term game plan for it. So no other interest has been shown.
Okay. The concept looks really solid. Yeah, I think it'll enhance the look down there.
And just so Lisa has it, the motion will be, not the words, but to allow Craig and Pat to transfer this over once it gets into the land bank over to them.
Transfer them, and the only fee would be them paying for the fees that are required to get the transfer done from the land bank to them.
And then obviously the pay for the field there.
Right, I'll have to draw up a development agreement that
Sure.
they'll all have to sign off on.
And then I want to state this too, because I know that we've said in the past that we have a minimum that we're going to take and we don't want to. However, I think because of the circumstances of where they're at, the amount of money they put into fixing the outer walls and purchasing some of the already owned property, I think that's why I'm making the motion to not charge them the minimum fee, what we discussed.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion? Ready for a vote? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Start getting your bids.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. And procedurally, Ed, David, Trent, Kate, and David, procedurally then, I will have to publish in the newspaper that this will be sold after a period of 30 days. So I really cannot transfer title until, in the first part of June, probably somewhere in that neck of the woods, so.
Okay.
Very good.
And again, I'll have to prepare a development agreement, and I'll get to all of you to look over and everything, so.
Sounds good.
That sounds
All right,
like a
great.
good project.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Now, I also have an application here from Ed Freeman. Trent is his representative and all. It's actually filed on behalf of his LLC. It's for two pieces of property at 114 North Judson and 116 North Judson. Both of these properties are vacant properties. Neither one, we acquired these through the tax foreclosure sale. We did not get personal service on the owners of these pieces of property. Ed has, he wants to, his intended use is residential / rental. And he wants a 24-month period of time within which to build. He says he wants to build residential rental homes designed to complement the area. And I know I've spoken with him about this before. Craig has too. There's also another couple of lots there to the north on Oak Street that he would like to acquire, and we're still looking into that. We haven't got there yet, but this would be a starter anyway.
Yeah,
So
so-
114 South Judson.
Did I say
North.
south?
North.
North. I may have said south, I apologize.
No, I think you said it right. I just-
114 and 116.
Yeah.
Two right now,
Right, and again, the consideration offered is just the transfer of the properties,
And those are both vacant lots.
both vacant lots. And let's see, how big are they?
An area seriously to read
Yeah,
out, like, didn't we kind of tour that area the other day?
50, no, excuse me, where is it? They're not very big lots.
Tore down very long ago, so I don't remember. being
Yeah,
very long.
yeah, one's at 25 by 120, 116 North Judge is 25 by 120, and 114, I don't think it's any bigger as I recall.
yeah. I think they're the same.
I believe, I'm 100% sure you're right. You just can't seem to find it on my list here.
That's their building, yeah, right there, where's the house?
Well, 25.
Yeah, they're both 125 by 120s, yes, thank you. So they're not much you can do with a 25-foot lot anyway, you know?
Two 25-footers.
Two 25-footers.
114, yeah.
These two.
Trent, you know what the footprint looks like on that?
Well, so, one is east-west, and, one, I believe, is north-south on those. I think that's how that was set up like that.
Okay.
Because there was also another property, I think it was Oak that sat right behind it, or whatever that corner is, that's right there, there's a house that's burned. And so that's the one I think he had talked about, liking to get a hold of that whole corner to review. But I think the two properties now, he wants to go ahead and get those, as a contractor already in the bullpen, just kind of waiting for some things, but he figures those right there, depending on how that's set up, would also kind of depend on how he decides which design he decides to go with on that kind of situation.
And I believe Mr. Freeman is aware of the fact that if he acquires these properties, it'll be by a quitclaim deed, not by a warranty deed. That's on the application, that's a letter I now have presented a letter to these people advising them about that, as well as about the NRP program. And so they are aware of the fact that they will only be getting the title of the property that we have.
Sure. And so he's obviously in it for the long haul then.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, he's got several, like, the deal was, he's got several different designs and ideas he can go with, and, I mean, my dad did this for a living, so, I mean, architecturally speaking, so he wants to do something that would, one, help the area there, but also, face them so they're facing towards the fort area, do specifically, I'm going to use the word historical cues so they don't look like somebody dropped a new house in some place kind of situation.
So they face Judson.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they are both 25, they're parallel to each other, running east and west.
They both run east.
Yeah,
Okay.
they both run
Yep.
east and west, 25 by 120.
So it's these lots right here, right, Craig?
Yeah, I think
The
so.
corner
I'm looking
lot
at the
towards,
GIS.
yeah.
No, they're not
It's
corner
not
lots.
corner lot.
They're
Not- no.
they're smack dab in the middle. of
Right in the
lot.
middle.
Yeah.
But they're
smack
talking
dab.
only 25-foot lots.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why, yeah.
But that was the thing, having both of those lots, that way he could utilize the entire space and do something stacked.
And these have been on the, and I guess, did you finish reading the thing, I'm sorry?
Yeah, yes,
No, because I think the corner lot is the one that's got the burned out, that stretches the other direction.
Yeah, that's,
Well, yeah.
yeah, that's an Oak, it's like 22 west, or
No, it's
122 west
Yeah,
Oak.
odd number. It's on the north side.
It's on the south side.
Oh, south.
South
yeah,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, and they all run north and south.
Oh, okay.
The three lots, and we've got one of them, we've got the middle lot there, the land bank has the middle lot, and it's like an L shape. It goes to the west behind the one where the house burned,
Right.
on the alley. The thought is and the one on the corner is one that will be in a land bank here, or land bank, it'll be in a taxa pretty quick
Yes,
if the person doesn't,
Pay their taxes.
Yeah.
Pay the taxes on
And,
it.
yeah, and those are where he would put one to acquire all of that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
one of-
then that's when I would flip those
Yep.
90 degrees.
I think 102 West Oak, it was foreclosed upon, but for some reason it was not in the sale, so it's going to be in this next sale. 108 West Oak is what we own, and then 110 is the burned out structure that I've reached out to the owner of that to see if we can kind of make a deal there, and so far I haven't had any luck.
I'm just sitting here looking at pictures. I
And
guess.
that burned out when the families have applied for a demo permit on it, so they have plans for it, but
Haven't
it's
executed.
a weird little lot. I think it's 37.5 by
Yeah, it's-
87.
it's strange.
Something like that. It's not full deed. Okay.
I'd make a motion to accept Mr. Freeman's application foregoing the minimum fee based on the fact that they're willing to do new construction within 24 months.
And that's in the agreement, the development agreement?
He said minimum fee, there was no fee offered.
So we had one set, we originally said that we
Oh,
would,
okay. I
so I'm
Yeah.
saying that we would forego that.
Very,
Are we gonna do the expenses, like we did on the
Yeah,
last
just do the
vote?
title expenses.
Does that sound reasonable?
Second.
Moved and seconded, is there any discussion on this one? And it'd be the same thing where we'd have to wait 30 days before we could release the title. So, and I think if anybody's, I don't know if we're on, or Bill and Lisa will do a good job of putting the notes out, but, we're having some of these properties where we're not asking for the $1,000 minimum, but I think that where we can do that is because we are doing new building, and these are not gonna be adjacent properties. They will have structures on them, and pay taxes 50 years from now, which I just really, and if you think of how many new houses have been built in Fort Scott in the last 5 or 7 years, I think it's 3 or 4 in one hand, right, Josh? That sounds pretty reasonable?
Yeah, and I've been maybe 5 in the last 13 years.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he's
We
willing
got
to
Joe's
buy
bill.
more lots and build more new houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anybody that comes, we met with Mr. Freeman, Pat and I did, and it was really a nice thing to hear him say, I've got financing and I've got the construction people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever you come here with that kind of thing, you're way ahead of the game, honestly.
What you got, Pat?
All right.
Okay, so
We have to vote.
how about a
Yeah.
vote?
Yeah, take a vote.
So the vote is to sell the 2 lots at 114 and 116 North Judson, waive the traditional minimum fee, but add back the cost of the title work. And moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Right,
Thank you, Sean.
Next
Alyssa,
week.
Did you have?
Yes,
Thank you, guys.
yes,
Appreciate it.
this is Elisa Clary, she has an application.
Okay, great.
Elisa Clary is here, she has an application also for us to consider. It actually is noted on the summary page, I think it's the second one, it's 1405 South Margaret. And as you'll note, we actually have 2 offers on 1405 South Margaret to consider, so you can read the summary of her application. I will say in addition to what's on her application, her and her husband own 3 other properties in town. They are renovating a home at 1122 South Horton, and it looks like it's a massive undertaking. It looks to me like they've done a real nice job with it. They own the property at 1401 South Margrave, which actually adjoins 1405 South Margrave. They have a rental house there. So this is basically a yard extension. Their offer is $2,000 for that lot. And then as you can see right above that is the offer from another individual. And they don't have a game plan in place either, and just, you know, their comments where it's a possible home site. I will say, you'll notice my note there that, we were able to procure a deed from the former owner, through that applicant's efforts and all. So I don't know if that's a consideration or not. He does have, a relative, a son, I believe, across the street, as I recall, but,
So the question I have, so the person, the possible built home site, what you're saying is there's no guarantee that they'll build a home there, there's no financing to build a home or anything like that?
basically what he informed me that no, there's no game plan. They would undoubtedly sell the house that they have now and then build's basically what he says, but
Okay.
he did not say that in his application.
And then if we were to approve that, like with, Mr. Freeman, we gave them a 12-month, he was gonna build those in 24 months?
I wish particularly because of, if I'm hearing this right, the applicant that's not present, he's did the footwork to get it in the land bank so that he could purchase it.
He approached me.
I guess I would like to postpone making a motion for either of these applications and maybe have both applications be a little more thorough. We just sat here and as a board made the decision to sell property based on building, which is very high on the rubric, and like Craig had said, that's I think something we really need to promote. I want to see building going on, and so maybe give both applicants time to come up with a game plan and resubmit applications.
Yeah. You want to hear from Lisa or?
Yeah.
Well, 1401, she owns next to it, so they are adjacent property owners, so there's a lot of potential there. Is there a structure on 1401? Is there a vacant lot or a house there?
No, 1401 has a house and it's occupied.
1405 is one she'd like to purchase.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
1405 would be something in the future that we would do something with if we were able to get it. We're doing right now, we've got 2 other projects
You're working.
we're working on. So, it would be something later.
Would you consider if it were contingent upon you building and there was a 36 or 48 month plan to start construction, would you take that limit out? Is there a garage or anything like that on 1401 or just a small house there? I know the lot a little, I know that area a little bit.
It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with an attached garage.
1405, there wasn't a roll off there, was there?
It's a
There-
container.
There is, but
Trying
it's
to
our
find it.
tenants, and I don't know what kind of arrangement she had with them. So if that would be another thing, we would get it, she needs to do something.
You've already forewarned her of that anyway.
Yes, I did, yeah. We wouldn't do anything until, I don't wanna do anything until interest rates and stuff, We've already got two other projects going on, and I'm not gonna commit to anything like immediately.
What I hear, yeah, and you wouldn't even possibly, agree to, like I said, 24 or 36 month. I'll amend or enhance my development agreement with a promise to build in 36 months or 24
I would have
months.
to talk to Adam about that,
Mhm.
cause he didn't wanna make any commitments. Cause I don't know what's gonna
Is-
happen with.
Like for what you're needing, there's no reason for you to have this property today.
Right,
So,
yeah.
Postpone it or whatever.
Yeah, it sounds like both of them could have the opportunity to, because that 82 front foot is kind of nice. We don't get those very often. Usually they're 50s and 25s. So it's a buildable lot. And it's on one of the better roads in town, it's, as far as that's concerned. Give you guys a chance to think about whether you want to enhance your bid. Quite honestly, if I had my choice between an adjacent owner adding to their space as opposed to, somebody, and this particular person may live across the street or in the area.
Son is.
And, would, commit to building a house there. That would win even with a lower, a minimum, bid. Just because of property taxes and the affordable housing. We're just, I'm so personally driven on getting affordable housing.
And comparables.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
if they do not build that, then it comes back to land bank.
It would be.
Yeah,
claw
and
back.
and that's the thing about the land bank that the city really doesn't enjoy, and that's, we have some real heavy clawback. We can claw the property back from the person we, deeded it to if they don't fulfill the agreement.
I'll make a motion again, can we table this and maybe Pat can visit with
Both parties, sure.
both parties?
Yeah, and I don't know if the other party, if it's able for Pat to seek financial support from them to see what financial means they have to actually build one, or it's just, I'm gonna build something.
But I would like to probably have something to where they can say, well, we can, you know, some type of financial back that says, you know, in 24 months, we can build or
I
something.
think you said they were gonna sell a house and use that or
Yeah.
something, so.
I understand.
You know, I guess we don't even know if
I
that's
think-
feasible for them, but.
I think even that's great. I put 2 on the market last week and they sold.
Yeah.
So I think if the applicant has a significant amount of equity in their home and that's their game plan, and that's in writing, I think even that's great. But if they aren't gonna commit to building, then obviously we need to follow the rubric, which would be letting the adjacent landowner have it, so. But I think in fairness, we should wait out that opportunity and visit, so I'm just saying, let's table it.
Sure, no, I'm
So
with
next
you.
meeting.
Lisa also can come back and commit to 36 months, possible.
What's that?
You could also come back 30 days and commit to build within 36
After talking to Adam.
months.
After talking to you.
I would, yeah.
Yes.
talk to my husband.
So I'm just saying, we'll just table it for now, and then you guys can visit with Pat a little bit more, and that gives you time to visit with your partner as well.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Now, we can turn our attention to the summary itself and all that much.
Okay.
We got to vote on his motion.
I don't think
Oh,
we have
to
to
table
vote
it.
on the table. We don't have to
Just
vote on the
table.
table, we just table it.
Just table, you don't vote on the table.
Okay.
I didn't know, usually action items.
Well, the rest of the table didn't want to table it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We
there's
can
a
vote.
motion to table
Well,
it.
you got 2 out of 5 that says they want to table, the other 3 haven't spoken.
Yeah.
2 out of, okay, so,
Motion.
Robert actually made a motion to
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
Josh seconded. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay. Great. Okay.
All right, sorry about that.
Hey, how's ours?
Might start being consistent now.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go down the list, right?
We'll go down the list, that's
429 codes?
acceptable to you.
49
49
are my
codes.
rules of order, they're Robert's rules of order.
That's scary.
Okay, 429 codes, it's a non-buildable lot, it's pretty rough. The folks that have applied, they own the lot to the south of that, but they don't even live on that lot. They live a block down to the south. It's a 50 by 120. As you can see, that entire block is vacant. There's nothing there, there's nothing across the road. You look down the hill, there's the old railroad yards. You look, this is a corner lot, there's an abandoned house to the north that looks kind of colonial and all, but it's pretty rough all.
It's in the land bank too.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's a land bank also. These folks, it's a kind of a yard extension for a vacant lot, but that these folks own.
Do they, I hate saying this, do they keep up their property? I mean, is it
Yeah,
mowed?
it wouldn't be, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just, to make a good point, you verify that all these people turning in applications don't have outstanding codes against them?
Mhm.
Okay. Just, I knew we talked about it.
Yeah. Outstanding codes and back taxes.
So, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, so they don't live next door?
No.
They live down the road,
They live a block south.
a block south, but they own the lot next to this?
Right.
And they're wanting to turn it into yard extension for
Yard extension for a yard.
For their vacant lot, or a parking
Yeah.
spot for their vacant lot.
You say it blocks out, so that would be, is it down the alley from them?
Well, it's on Coates Street. I mean, these folks live on Coates and this.
And it kinda dead ends a little bit.
It dead ends right after.
So if it's over.
It dead ends at this lot.
Okay.
They're trying to
It looks
acquire.
like they're the only house on Coates, I'm assuming right there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And they own another lot on Coates.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot or two to the south of the vacant lot they own that's owned by somebody else. But there's nothing on the entirety of that block, and probably little potential for anything to ever be developed over there.
Yeah.
No personal service.
No personal service.
In this particular lot, if we were to table, it's not gonna cost us anything because it's not mowable.
Not mowable.
It's just a huge stand of trees, sucker trees.
Well, if that's the case, I'd almost say take the $500 and run, because, I mean, if it's just trees and they don't need to mow it, and it's non-buildable, and I mean, I hate giving away, doing this, but yet if you can't build anything on it, we're not gonna get nailed by mowing it, a bunch of trees.
Do they have plans for their adjacent lot?
Pat, will $500 cover the cost of title swap? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, the only cost to us is the filing of the deed, $22,
Okay.
21.
Well, I would do $500, but, I mean, I'd make them pay for the deed.
Well, yeah, generally speaking, that's the way it's done. I mean, I deliver the deed to them and then.
It's 500 plus any paperwork they have to file.
Right, if we do the deed, I mean, it's their cost to file it, it's not ours.
I agree with Rob, it's not something we need to keep.
Yeah, no. There's, no value to us long-term. Make a motion to accept the $500 proposed purchase price for 429 on Coates.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, the next three pieces of property, the same individual has offered to purchase them. The first one's at 602 South Heilman. It's a corner lot. He does not own the property next to it, which is 612 South Heilman. But he's interested in buying the house at 612 South Heilman. So it's really not a side lot or a yard extension per se. Land Bank owns the property at 614 South Heilman.
So it goes 602, 612, 614.
And there's a house at 614, or excuse me, there's a house at 612.
I have some.
I was by there this morning.
Do we ever, I know we send out signs and everything for advertising, but do we ever reach out if it's a rental property to the owners of the property?
Well, as I mentioned last time, I'm getting a letter together. I've been doing research for figuring out who owns on each side of properties. And my game plan is to send a letter to owners on both sides of the property. And I just haven't got that yet.
Need somebody to come in there.
Sorry, that is really good.
We keep tearing houses down.
I have some concerns about this. One, because that's gonna pretty soon there'll be only one house on that block. But I also feel like it frees up a lot of spot for building. I went just by there the other day and there's 6 junk cars. There's just, it's a mess over there, and are we gonna put the city in a situation where the codes have to continue to address that block by accepting these proposals? The other thing is that I know that someone has purchased the old ice house and is talking about building apartments there. so there too is an area where we're gonna start seeing some new construction. And I don't know that it's a good idea to just deed over an entire block to somebody.
Isn't that other guy doing something on Highland too? He came in here asking for the.
We haven't heard about that for a
But yeah,
while.
we need to apply to the
Yeah.
state for.
Yeah.
That's down the street a ways.
The one that bought the old nursing home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got two
Which
corners,
reminds me,
you got
do
two
we
corners.
have anything in our development agreement that, so when someone gets this for $500, can they turn around and sell it the next day? I mean, do we have anything in there that says they have to hold on to it for X amount?
Unless you put in a development agreement.
I look at that, with that coming up, I mean, appraised value 7,700, they're gonna buy it for 500, can they turn around tomorrow as they get the deed and sell it for $3,000 and make money on it? I mean, that's.
The presentation of the current property that's there, that's a reflection of how these other properties are gonna look. We're not doing this, the city or the land bank or the codes office any favors, and I don't feel like that's the objective of the land bank.
Where is this? I'm trying to.
So, while we're talking about this, can I make a suggestion of the development agreement? Can I just, if the land bank should put in there right of first refusal, if they decide to sell it, we get the right to refuse to buy it back for the purchase price plus any, improvements they've made, just so we don't, I mean, it doesn't hurt, all we have to do is say no if we don't want it.
Yeah.
So,
This is buildable lot, $500.
Yeah, it's a 100-footer, 100 front foot
Used
on
to
the
be a nice
east,
house on there.
on the east side.
It's been a while, but there's a
Yeah, I was
nice
by
house
there
on
yesterday, it's a nice flat, they left the trees, when they cleared it.
So there's a
So
nursing
it's a
home.
mature lot.
I'll make a motion to table 602, 614 Highland.
It's this block right
I'll
here.
second that.
This is
Any
covered.
discussion?
This is covered with garage.
We're tabling it, I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out, we're tabling it because
Are we tabling or rejecting?
I thought we were gonna reject it. You're not wanting to reject the.
Okay, we can, until when? What are we rejecting it for?
Well, let's start by rejecting it based off of the price, you know, on the other ones, we waived the purchase price, but those people agreed to do new construction, which benefits the community on all avenues, yeah. This is under the agreed price without any plans for the property.
And I will just say, if we hold on to it a year, we're gonna have another $1,000 in each property for mowing fees, more than likely. So, I just think whatever we do, if we need to reject it, we better have a plan going forward, so we don't end up having more money tied up to it that it's not worth.
And I agree, if they don't have any plans on a lease, they'll give us 1,000 minimum.
Yeah.
That'll be something here.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll amend my motion to
You don't
reject
have to.
both of these. I would hope that we get that one thing put out quick, because I'd like to know if that person that has the house in the middle has any interest in building a garage or building something, you know?
Sure.
Are we amending to reject?
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion is,
Second is bid.
And before you move on, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, I would love to add it to our development agreement, right of first refusal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to make a motion to do that, or just direct Pat, or what.
I think probably just direct that, that's a sensible thing. For those that have, that are buying it on the pretension that they're doing construction,
And so I don't know if we need to think about for how long, you know?
If we add that, then
Right.
the lady that was just here would get right of first refusal, because she owns the house next to it as a rental, and then she wants that lot. The lady that was just here that we had two.
Yeah, I don't know how to use word it, I just think the land bank needs to have right of first refusal if they're gonna sell it 2 months later to someone, you know? Whoever.
Oh, I thought.
No, I mean, if
never mind,
whoever we give
yeah.
these to.
I thought you were talking about contact.
yeah, because if we sell
The
them
rent
with
the person
a
knows.
24-month window to build a house, and they decided the 20th month to not build the house.
We should get it back.
We probably should
try to claw it back.
Yeah.
Sure,
No.
so all properties,
I misunderstood.
so I guess what I was just saying is if we were gonna, have it changed to say that for the properties not being sold based upon construction, we would have right of first refusal to, for X amount of time.
But even construction, let's just say, take Limes for example, they have 2 years to build, let's say in 18 months they sell it. Does anything stop them from selling that?
I would think the fact that that's what we approved, but we approved the sale based on the 24-month development
So
agreement.
that development agreement would
So
transfer
that-
over to the new owner?
After they sell it, the new owner start
So
housing.
that's what I know.
Maybe.
I'm sure I
Can
I'm
you get
sure I
a-
could put it as, a exception, whatever, in the deed, and we came out of that too, such, the terms and conditions of the development agreement, you know.
I mean, I think talking with other land banks, and I hate saying this, the way they kinda look at it, if they get rid of it, you know, it's
My
not
only
their
concern
problem,
is they
but
get
it goes back
to
to.
the tax sale, and then we're doing all.
3 years of
Well, on
it.
the other hand, with adjacent landowners, if Joe Smith comes here because he owns this home and wants the adjacent property, and then 2 months later, after it's adjoined, he chooses to sell it that way, I think more power to them, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think it's each case scenario, I don't know the proper way.
So maybe we should just be weary of that on a case-by-case scenario as we're approving properties.
And just throw that in as a.
Here's one particularly, you know, and we can't approve to give this guy half the city block. Like you said, one, there's a homeowner in there that we haven't heard from yet, that in our rubric says that they also should have the opportunity. But then two, just to turn around and have him start selling them off piece by piece, that's not what we're doing this for, so.
I'll be honest with you, if we give a piece of property away, like, just give it to somebody, I think there should be something in there that says, land, if you try to sell it, you have to come back and ask land bank or something, cause if we
Approval.
just, for approval, cause if we just give it to them and they didn't buy it, I think that's a completely different story than if somebody gave us money for.
I think by next week we need to
Yeah.
discuss something, you know, first refusal
You're
until you
right.
do X amount of improvements to it, and then that refusal goes away or something, you know.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Sure.
I'll come up with something to present to you. Okay, next piece of property, 1601 East Wall. This is a commercial piece of property where Sugarfoot Peaches used to be. I have received and filed a deed from John Embry, deeding his interest in that property to the land bank. This is a donation. It's some commercial, and we have 2 offers on that. And you can see, one of them is again from the individual that made the offer on the prior 2 pieces of property, and you see his game plan there.
They both wanna use it for signage?
At this point in time. Well, I think Mr. Sawyer eventually would like to display his vehicles on there, as you note, and he apparently owns the house next door at 1605 East Wall, so it'll also be kind of a side lot.
So he's the adjacent owner.
Yeah.
You got the.
And he has a car lot 4 miles.
4 miles north.
Up on Franklin.
And he's offering the minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the second one, you've got them flipped, appraised value 1,500, so
Oh.
that's, okay.
No, yes, you are correct. Yes, sir, I did.
So the appraised
he's
value is
offered-
3,450.
He's offered 15, I apologize.
No, that's fine. It's
Yeah,
not that.
you're absolutely right.
I got it.
Well, that's a pretty good offer.
Yeah.
Sold.
And I will say that the second offer on 1601 East Wall, you'll see later on, the very last agenda item for, as far as properties goes, he wants to get all of our properties with structures on them and tear them down at his cost.
Does this lot have a sign in the yard?
Yeah, with the 1601, yeah, until blew away the other day.
So,
And I'm not sure that's a consideration, but I will say that he has made an offer on basically 7 properties here for consideration tonight.
so the second the second offer, the way it looks off, so I'm sorry, I'm not speculating. So the first offer wants to use it for an automotive and Binford and Sawyer Reynolds signage, and possibly display his for his cars there, so basically open up a car lot.
Yeah.
He has a car lot that's, out on Condensed Street.
So you have two different things here. So the first, the business that owns a house is different than the business that owns the car lot. It has an extra partner with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay.
and I'm gonna abstain because I sold the house to him and Benford works for me,
Mhm.
so I'll abstain from.
Okay, the second one, although he wants to, well, he wants to use it for business marketing and local signage as well, but he doesn't have a plan to put anything there other than.
Not at this point in time.
Signage.
He was wanting to start with the other 5 properties that, are on the last page and one step at a time type thing.
So as part of his offer to acquire these 5 properties as well as this one?
Well, I mean, I've got 3 separate offers from him, so, I mean, none of them were contingent upon what happens with the other one. It's just, I want you to note that he has interest in several properties. He actually, it's not in there, but he owns 500 acres around the Mapleton area, a couple of buildings in the city of Mapleton. He's got a trust that owns this, I guess, but
I would make a motion to accept the first bid, which would be Sawyer Automotive, versus Ben. I assume that we would be, I would make a motion to accept the first offer, contingent upon that we would be deeding it to the same property owner as the adjacent land property at 1605. And that if they did choose to make it an extension of their car lot, that they followed all Kansas, laws regarding that. I think that there's some rules regarding, car lot extensions. You can't just, I don't think you can just start parking cars there for sale. There's some guidelines you have to follow probably with the state.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any, discussion?
If you're taking the amount right here that he's on.
Yeah, he's an adjacent landowner, and he, meets the minimum criteria. I think if he can follow all of this state regulations regarding possible extension and any signage, there's some rules regarding signage along 54 highway as well, as far as how far away from the road it has to be, how big it can be. If he can follow all the rules, I think.
I would make a suggestion, if you're based off his things, if you're going to, and you have 2 offers, he said what increase is necessary, I don't know if you can say, hey, match the other $1,500 plus what you're gonna do.
So I was thinking.
I'm happy to do that. He did say, I quote, would increase if necessary, so
yeah, that's in that.
I would amend to that as well, that he get the 1,500.
Yeah.
I need a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to request a $1,500, purchase price for 1601 East Wall for the first, bidder or applications.
But so long as it's acquired by, in the name of Benford and Sawyer, whoever owns.
Well,
60
whoever the adjacent landowner is, so that it's.
That's how it's shown up on GIS, Benford Sawyer.
So that it's correct, that it's gonna be attached to that property then.
And we would have them attach it to the property, right?
Mhm.
It would not be a
Yeah,
standalone vacant lot.
I think they have to connect.
They don't have to, but I would. I mean,
We've
that's
had
what they
others
want.
do that.
Put that,
Part of the-
make sure that's
Yeah.
part of the development agreement, that they attach.
Would you have zoning issues though?
They're all- I think it's all zone.
It's all
Yeah,
zone
zone
commercial.
commercial residential.
Oh, you meant right,
and
oh,
walking
okay.
in.
Everything down Wall is done commercial, just you can have a residential house in commercial zone.
Didn't think about that yet.
Okay. All right, so all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Abstain.
One abstention? Okay.
All right, moving on. 312 South Highland, it's a vacant lot. We have two offers on it. The first offer is from a gentleman who happens to live over in Missouri, but he happens to own the property to the south and a property to the west that goes downhill into the river, basically. It's not much of a, it's almost a landlocked, I'm sorry, it's not either. The river property is landlocked pretty much, but, and then the neighbor to the north, who actually lives there, he's also interested in it. He owns actually two lots to the north, he's got a nice residence there. So they're both adjoining landowners, one has a residence, the other one is just vacant property, basically. I apologize, I'm wrong on that. 316 South Highland does have a residence on it, he's had somebody live in it, I like it, sorry about that.
Doesn't one of those lots just have a steel building on it?
It's,
As you make the curve and go downhill.
Oh, yeah, there used to be a house there, it burned a few years ago, that's farther down. This, it is 312. There's a tiny home.
There's something there.
Old Woodall residence.
You got it.
Yep.
That's absolutely right.
That's correct.
That's right.
So I'm assuming that's one and the other one's probably 10 or, yeah.
So,
And I will say, and I don't know who it is, but I will say these two people probably put the bid in that more than likely feud with each other. So, I don't know.
feud with each other? So, well, I noticed one was 1,001 and the other was
Crazy. That one was $1 more.
Yeah, so here's my question to you, again, I'm trying to, so the first offer, he owns the lot to the south of 316 South Highland, which has a renter in it.
Yes, that's right.
And he wants,
And I think that renter is a relative.
and he wants for a yard extension for that. And then the second one wants the same thing, yard extension, but he owns the two lots to the north.
Right, and his home sits on the north.
His home sits on the north. Conditions of each, are the lots taken care of, like is?
I would say the neighbor to the north, very well respected individual in town, and yes, takes very good care of his property.
And the other one, if I'm.
He's a
thinking
probation
good,
officer, that makes sense.
The other one, I know who it is, I mean, he tore down the houses there on his own, it was left in a death, I'm assuming, and was very good at cleanup too, but, so I think both of them are.
Okay.
So.
I'm just trying to get,
And the one on the north, has he been maintaining that lot?
Yes,
Well,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
We decided that that's.
Yes, he has. I
A
forgot
big,
about that.
factor, but I think it's something that we
Some
can,
kind of-
we got some kind of factor.
I think he submitted a prior application, I believe he mentioned in that prior application that he had been maintaining it.
Can we table it and see if those two would just split it? Yeah, I mean, come on. They've offered the same amount, each have an adjoining home. Whether they live in it or not, they each have adjoining property. Seems like a fair solution before one of the others upset.
Yeah, and actually, I don't think it is, I don't think these two do feud, so sorry, I had the wrong person.
I thought maybe you mentioned something.
I
don't think
I
they
was
do.
thinking to the one to the south, sorry, so, but yeah, it's still a great idea. I mean, there's no sense of,
Okay. So we'll
do
table
what
that.
we did down on Main.
I mean, I think it'd be smart.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did that on Main Street too. Let's see if, let's just table it for now.
Do you want a motion to table this, Jim?
Yes.
I take a motion that we table this till the next meeting.
I'll second.
Jim seconded. Moved and seconded to table a decision on 312 South Highland. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
All right, moving on. The next three properties, we have an offer from the same individual. He's a local businessman, and as far as I know, a well-respected businessman. 415 South National, it's It's 50 by 120 lot, he's made a pretty good offer on it, we do not have personal service, he's well aware of that. It's kind of, a lot somewhat rugged, but although it's, you know, it's just, they filled in, when they knocked the foundation in, they just filled over it and that kind of thing, so it's gonna have to have some cleanup, you know, dirt work and all. It's, a lot to the north is vacant, it's being maintained by, David Goltra, and he does a good job maintaining that, but,
Right across from middle school, old middle school.
Gotcha, okay. He's wanting to do what? Residential housing?
Eventually wants to build on it, I mean,
Construction.
yeah.
Does his development agreement have a timeline for building?
He did not propose a timeline, as he said in there, just basically, it depends upon, land bank approvals will dictate timelines and financing requirements. And he has been advised, and it's in the letter to him, that, you know, I don't know if they can obtain financing, so.
Is this the same person that wants to receive the other houses for tearing them down?
No, sir, no, sir.
Does this, you said this person's already done this kind of thing, residential housing and stuff?
I can't honestly say that, I would not be surprised, he's local, he's an electrician here in town, but,
Well, I'll make a motion to accept the $3,000, for the price with contingency of first right of refusal back to us, and they have to start construction within 24 months.
I'll second that.
That's a good one.
That's perfect.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Rob?
One of the Roberts.
Somebody.
Any discussion? Do you need
What was the timeline on that?
24 months, please? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
The next property is at 713 South Loma. This is a real nice lot. We had somebody interested in it, but they withdrew at right before the last meeting and all. It's a good, clean lot. Same guy.
Make a motion that we approve 713 South Loman with the same contingencies as Mr. Jones added on the last one. 24-month building. What else did you say? First right of refusal for the $1,000 purchase price.
Moved and seconded to sell 713 South Loman for $1,000 with a 24-month to start, right, for first refusal if he changes his mind or she. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, we had two offers on 1101 South National, corner lot, no personal service, and we've tried to get this gentleman to deed the property to us to no avail. He just is not interested in cooperating as far as I can tell, but anyway, not a, you know, not a lot. But again, we have two offers. The one is by this gentleman whose offers we just accepted, and the second offer is by the gentleman who's interested in 1601 East Wall and also in the tear down of the 5 structures that we own.
Is there a reason why the other gentleman can't pay the minimum of 1,000? I know appraised value of 370, but that's.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
It's a nice sized lot.
Mhm.
If it's buildable, it's worth $1,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the second proposed use looks like a billboard and signage and stuff.
I don't know if National zoned for commercial advertising, I don't know.
When it comes to billboards, quote unquote, that's a big deal when it comes to, city codes. Like, you have to be, yeah, I looked down that rabbit hole once, and you have to get zoned I-2 down National Street. That'd be very difficult. So you could do billboard, but there could be some sort of signage possibly there. It'd be small banner type stuff, but And again, on National, there's
That's-
opportunity for new construction.
Yeah, it's the main drag in town, it's a buildable lot, the proposed use of the second one has no tax value whatsoever. It doesn't do anything for, I would make the same proposal that Josh made on the first one and Robert made on the second one, and that's, to the first one, 24 months to start, right of first refusal.
But increase the offer.
Increase the offer to 1,000.
I'd be okay with that too.
Cause I think he could do 1,000, I like the purchase price on the second one, but I mean, if we're gonna start putting signage up, we might as well just put the signage up and rent it and make money for the land bank. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
That could get real ugly.
And I'm happy with raising to 1,000, I would just say be cautious of waiving some, and then asking some to bump it up, if he is gonna build a house there.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's good.
well, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And probably, I mean, like, we can't continue to keep saying the same thing for one particular investor, so if he needs something outside of that, maybe he would make a presentation to us.
Right.
I mean, we have somebody not present here that we're just continuing to say, well, if we do it within 24 months. Yeah, honestly, if someone came here that was a clear business owner and had some financial means to do new construction, and he needed longer than 24 months to get to all three properties,
Yeah,
I think it would be very feasible.
cause he might need 24 months to do 415, but he can't get to 713.
I mean, it gives a starting point, I mean, if
Sure.
person comes back and.
So maybe you could just make that known to him if you want to come visit us about needing an additional timeline.
Sure, absolutely.
Well,
I will say 2 years is a long time, because, I mean, someone could come here in a year, and I hate to have it sitting, waiting, but I get what you're saying.
it's taking you 2 years to build your house.
That is true. That is true. I have to wait for the financial needs.
Yeah.
Well, I like it, okay, so I'm gonna amend that to, accept the 370 because it's a new site-built home.
Yeah.
And, 24 months to start with the right of first refusal if it falls through. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
All right, near the end. 324 South Broadway. It's a corner lot, 58 by 120. This gentleman, he owns, he's a business owner, owns 4 properties in Fort Scott, 2 properties down in Garland. And in looking at the properties that he owns, they seem to be well maintained, they're not slums or anything like that. I did have somebody else who expressed an interest, a month or 2 ago, but I've never heard anything more from him. He was going to try to find the former owner and get a deed, but he was even apprehensive about his ability to do that, so.
So he says he may build on it, right? He doesn't.
Right.
Okay.
324 South Broadway. Pull that up.
What did we do earlier with one of those May bills? We tabled it and went and asked him if he would be willing to guarantee a bill? Is that what we did?
Yeah, we did,
Well, I
South
mean,
Market again.
Well, we had 2
competing.
people with
Oh,
competing bids.
that's true. Hey Pat, can I ask you a favor?
Of course.
Next time when we have a meeting, is there a way that you can get pictures of these?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know where some of these are and,
It's on Broadway, just directly east of Eugene Ware.
I was just saying, like, some of these
Yeah,
others.
yeah.
It's a nice corner lot that's got a lot of brush on it right now, but I'll get to that. The guy to the north of this property, took some trees down, our trees
Oh.
down and.
I'm sorry, he owns the property to the north.
This is the guy that.
Oh.
Yes, I
okay.
forgot that.
Okay. Well, then he can take the trees off.
Yeah. That's what he does for a living.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
I'm sorry, I meant, I had that.
Yeah, okay,
Well, adjacent property owner, he's offering the minimum, I would,
so we're not gonna make him attach it,
Well, yeah, we would do that.
or because he's talking about building on it?
He-
Building rentals on it?
Surveyed again.
yeah, I would make him attach it, cause he's not guaranteeing he's building on it.
Yeah,
So
and then,
You can't, I wouldn't do it just because there's no personal service on this one.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
So,
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Josh. That's why we got you here. Okay, so, yeah, this one would be taken good care of. He's got the rental to the north. I would like for him to build on there though. That'd be, and then the one around the corner on 317 South Little, would be another nice one, right across the street, literally right across the street from Eugene Ware. If I went on land bank, I'd put a house there. Shotgun. That's an advertisement.
So.
Okay, so what we're gonna
You think
do-
it's still good to sell, even though he possibly not building?
He may, and it's his, is he gonna, he'll clean it up?
Well, I mean, he could.
Put in development.
I just told him that I would, you know, it was one of those things where I was meeting him in the middle. I didn't know he was interested in this property.
I just got it
And-
today.
And if you remember right, the trees were hanging over a good windstorm and they're on his house. And we were not, the city and the land bank weren't willing to take the trees back in the event that they might fall down. So he cut them and laid them over in our yard, and I said I'd come get them, just because that's what I like to do for.
I think that he should have the choice, but let's do one or the other. Either ask that he make his plans to build on it, or attach it to his current property. If it's a rental and he's not selling his rental anytime soon, it makes no difference that we don't have personal service, because 5 years down the road or less, a title company is gonna give him good title with them adjoined, so.
The only thing is, if he needs income, he has to loan against his rental property, they won't loan against it with that being attached to it. Just saying, I mean, I don't know if he'd have
He
to or
knows
not.
that. Right.
Let's assume that he's savvy enough with real estate that he knows that much, and then let's
So you're
agree to
saying-
sell contingent upon that he would, one, build on it, or two, attach it to his, and at least let him say, you know, whether he would or wouldn't agree to attach it to his property.
Well, he would attach it if he built a storage unit, unless he had running water in the kitchen. And we're mowing it right now.
We'd have to cut all the trees down and everything.
Did
I'd
you-
make him clean it up too.
Did you get his motion?
I think it was a.
I didn't know, he started, I think.
I'm taking
Okay.
notes in case it turns into a motion.
So, I would make a motion to, accept the offer contingent upon that he, one, provides a building plan, or two, attaches it to his existing property.
I'll second that.
And cleans it up. Or not.
Well, it was cleaned up until they put the trees on there.
Oh.
And that's between him and I really.
Okay.
I told him I'd
Okay.
clean that up, so.
We have a motion and a second? Yeah.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, finally, and this is maybe an opportunity or not, I mean, again, this gentleman is interested in all 5 of our properties that have structures on them. And I think we've determined that all 5 of these properties, those structures need to be demoed. So basically, we get free demo. This individual tells me he wants to work in phases, that he wants to maybe get 5 properties at a time, do something with them. His game plan is that he will build on them, subject to any title issues that might be encountered, you know, in other words, if he couldn't couldn't, come up with the financing and all, but although he professes to have the financing. I will say that two of those properties, 423 South Holbrook, we have a deed, from the former landowner, so the title issues will be minimized. I'm supposed to be getting the deed, from the former landowner of 208 North Crawford. But you may recall 1311 has a structure on it, has those two side wings that need to be torn down. It's got a great garage in the back. 208 North Crawford is an old two-story structure with a garage attached. It's full of junk, and there's a shed out back that's full of junk. 415 South Holbrook is another two-story structure that's in deplorable condition. And the 611 South Crawford is a three-apartment complex, but it has foundation issues, roof leaks, got a hole in the roof.
What would be the timeline of demo?
He said once a month, one per month, starting June.
And the
June 1st.
only,
Starting when?
June 1.
Oh.
As soon as I get, we can get the 30-day notice and that kind of thing. He's got a crew, he says, ready
This
to
person
go.
has a demo background.
He says he's got a crew. He understands he's got to demo it, he's got to pay for all the demo costs, the C&D costs.
Is he,
and he'd have to bond it, all of that himself, wouldn't he?
does he?
Look, he owns it, wouldn't he?
Insurance and everything.
Can I tear down my own place?
You can, but I don't know if you can tear down a rental. I don't know. I don't know the rules on a rental. I don't know.
We own these aren't rentals, there's nobody in it.
No, I meant for him. I mean, they wouldn't be his living place.
Oh, no, sir.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming.
Because 423 is a two-story structure, no,
No, it's
415 is
415.
a two-story structure that is right against 411 and, probably what, 417.
Can we ask him to come in? We're giving away a lot of property. I mean, surely he
The
can.
only ones that have any value on them at all is the 1311. It's got a nice garage on it.
That's the one we would have seen.
Yeah, we don't.
Which
These are crazy.
theoretically, he's gonna tear the garage down as well.
He would have to unless he comes right back with a house.
Right.
And you guys gave him
Yeah.
a grace period on the house.
I mean, if all these need demoed,
They do.
I mean,
Well, or if he was going to the city and asking for the exemption that he did demo the garage is pretty nice. Anybody would be foolish by it. I've
it's
seen
something the
it.
city needs to look at anyway, because it's kind of a dumb rule, so. Can't keep a nice garage.
But also I feel like
It is a nice garage.
Do you know anybody on the commission that could change it?
here's a person who has no presentation before us. We're gonna vote to get rid of quite a few lots, and we don't really know their mean. I mean, like, I would like to know that this person has disability before we take the time to take 4 off of our list. And
My only thing is that is we're kinda asked to remain anonymous on here. Just,
if this is development purpose, though, I think that's a little different.
it is, I'm fine, I mean, I'll disagree a little bit, because if it saves us $20,000 from tearing it down, we'll know in 30 days if he can do it, and if not, then they can come right back.
Yeah.
Robert, those are ones we went in, we physically went in, all of them, except for 423.
What's he gonna do with it?
The reason why we didn't go 423, because there was no foundation, and Robert said, we don't even need to worry about this.
Yeah, yeah.
What is this person gonna do with it after he tears it
He
down?
intends to build a residential structure on each one of these.
On each one of these?
That's what he says.
But no
And he says he
guarantee. So
has,
there's no guarantee.
he says he has the financial resources to do that, that he's,
So if we're gonna ask you, can we ask who it is that okay?
I'll tell you who it is, I mean, it's one of these, he lives up in Mapleton area, his name's Michael Scavuzzo. The application's being filed on behalf of, an LLC, or,
That's not who owns the property on the north side of Broadway. 324 Broadway, is that a different person?
let me look in here. He's come in a couple times to talk to me, so I think, he's got good intentions. Also, he says he owns 3 homes in Fort Scott. I didn't look.
Yeah, the one at like 322 or 320 is owned by Dana Aaron's. That's who cut the trees down.
I think it's great that anybody would wanna do new construction. I mean, that's fantastic, but
You want something more concrete.
if it's that much interest, surely you'll come in and visit with us. And again, this is developmental, it's not.
What was his name again?
Michael Scavuzzo, he says he owns 500 acres up in Edgerton area.
Was it that guy that just, it was this.
Oh, that one of the,
Yeah, I thought that was somebody completely different. Explain.
Pat, are you saying that 324
Yeah.
South Broadway, that corner vacant lot is the same guy that's doing?
No, no, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay,
No,
I
no.
misunderstood.
Yeah, no,
I misunderstood. Yeah, Dana Aaron's is the one that owns 324,
Right.
322 and wants to get the corner lot.
Yeah, Dana lives down in Garland, this guy lives
Right.
up by me.
Okay.
Dana's a good
I
guy.
misunderstood the
did
connection.
this guy act like he was in a hurry to start demoing or tear down?
You know, other than the fact he's came and talked to me twice about it and, you know.
I come to a
So-
special meeting.
What if we make a motion to approve it based on Pat and Craig, looking, seeing if they think it's, if the guys do it, well, that way we don't have to wait 30 days or something.
Sure. Or I'm sure he would.
Well, we
yeah,
at
versus
least
coming in next
we
week.
could do some, enough, footwork that then we could have a productive special meeting. if we needed
Either
to.
one.
Sounds
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna table these right here, these 5. Although, I mean, Josh is right, we're looking at 20,000 demo fees easily.
I'm good either
We
way.
got
If you want to do a
two.
special meeting, or I trust you and Pat enough.
We got 3
Yeah,
two-stories.
I trust you too.
Yeah,
If you think
I think
the
that's
guy
great.
can do it, it has the means to do it, then I would
Okay,
trust. I'd
let's
give you
get,
guys
let's
the
get him
authority.
in some
Yeah.
afternoon when you're
Absolutely.
working.
Yeah, he'd be happy to come in,
Okay,
sure.
great.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll table.
All right.
Table for, make a motion.
Are we?
I will make a motion to give Pat and Craig the authority, if you think the guy can handle tearing these down, to approve it, based on your
Oh,
guys'
okay.
recommendation.
And I'll second.
And building back 6
Yeah.
On any given 1 or 2, or is he gonna
I
start
would
that
think
fast?
24 months would start out to the day of demo.
That would put him on completing those houses within 24 to 29 months. Because he would do one a month for 5 months, and that would start the clock on each one of those.
I'm good just without, I mean, if he demos them, then honestly, we're gonna have $4,000 in a lot if we demo it, and most of the lots ain't worth $4,000, so honestly, if he tears it down, I'm good even
You
if he
got,
doesn't.
like I say, you got three big 2-stories and 2 small 1-stories, easily average 4,000 with dump fees.
Maybe you could appoint him to the party that wanted to donate that.
So did you get that, Lisa?
Pat, I have Pat and Craig have authority to,
Yeah, I'll make a motion, Pat, or to approve this contract based on, their Craig and Pat,
Discretion of ability.
yes.
This isn't the
And
guy
I seconded
that buys
that.
all those houses in Urban, or Bronson and leaves them, is it?
No.
I don't believe it.
That's been last.
Who's that other guy?
SCAVUZZO.
Hispanic.
ABUZZO.
Older Hispanic.
Greg's.
Okay, all right. I'll look him up on the taxes, see what else he's got.
I don't think anyone's-
Okay,
Second.
okay, so real quickly,
Oh, one second. We should do vote on this.
Yeah, I gave a second.
Okay.
We just gotta vote.
Motion second for Pat and I to do our due diligence with this person and possibly sign off on it. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Potential donation of 608 South Broadway, vacant lot.
Yeah, the gentleman that gave me the deed to 1405 South Margrave, we also foreclosed on 608 South Broadway. It was not sold at the sheriff's sale. He has agreed to deed that property to the land bank.
Great.
Okay.
Is there any problem with that, other than having to mow it? Buildable lot?
Yeah,
Build a lot.
I'll make a motion that we approve 608 South Broadway's donation.
It's a real nice tree on it.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Mowing, 8 inches, basically what that is we're, I think we're all in agreement to go with whoever the city selects for their mowing. And, I've talked to, I think the person that has that contract, and it's basically mow every other, don't mow us like it's our yard. Don't mow us like it's the gun park or the golf course, but every other.
And
So
I
8
guess
inches.
his agreement with the city is that he doesn't mow unless they're 8 inches tall. That's what Norm is telling me, something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, so he just wants to be on the same terms as
Yeah.
we are with the city.
I think
But he is
that's,
with the city.
yeah, and that's worked for us last year.
And just make sure he, and I think the city did, but he get the, notes on the bill, make sure they're not all lumped together.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
Separate
seen
it.
past
And that
bills
way,
that seem like
and
he
that
just
way,
separated it out.
if he's mowing on 8 inches, he's not having to mow 5 times for one fee. Okay, great. Demolition.
Now, forget that one, that was before I got this offer today,
Okay.
so
So
we don't have to worry
scratch
about that.
demolition.
I got one other little item, apparently I missed a piece of property, when I was going through, inventory and everything. I think we own one more piece of property than I thought we owned, it's on I think it's on a couch or something like that, but, anyway, 305 couch or something. So we have an extra piece of property I wasn't aware of, so, lucky us.
Okay. 305 cap?
Yeah, Craig, I can let you know that for sure, I have it here somewhere, but for sure.
That's a property owned county farm, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll let you know what it is, Craig. I can't find my little note here.
What do you got those ones on couch, on the 400 block of couch? You got a for sale sign on them? Been there for a while, it's a nice half block.
Where's it at? Yes, ma'am.
400 block of
These are all the
couch,
details, thank you.
west side.
And that slopes up, that's the old county line.
But the city's,
No, the county did own it, but he just said they
Sold
sold
to
it.
somebody.
About a year ago.
I may have the address wrong.
No, you're right, it should be right, I think.
anything else to come before the board? Thank.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks, second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Pat, for your help.
Side lot, that we're at county farm.